Nick, thank you. There are allegations of illegal movements of tax dollars and now self-dealing in Prince George's County. It's all part of a battle over a portion of the county budget, which has now landed in court. Our Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell has been following this ever-evolving story. Brad joining us live from Upper Marlboro. Brad, this has to do with the county council taking cash from Parks and Planning Commission. This is all pretty complicated. Break it down for us.
Yeah, it is very, very complicated, but look, I can explain it this way. Parks and Planning, Maryland National Capital Parks and Planning Commission, you see the signs everywhere. They were set up 100 years ago by the state legislature to acquire, maintain parks, run recreation, and also do planning. And they have their own budget, their own funding source, which is a percentage of property tax. Well, the Prince George's County Council has dipped into that fund. The allegation from Parks and Planning is simply because they couldn't balance the budget on their own and they wanted to spend more money than they have, and so Parks and Planning is suing. Today they had an initial hearing. In court today, the lawyer for the Maryland National Capital Parks and Planning Commission told Judge Crystal Alves that the county council's cash grab of $39 million from the m-ncppc's budget is illegal because the commission is a state agency funded by a portion of county property taxes by state law, and the county has no legal claim to those funds. The county's lawyer argued that the law does permit the transfer. The judge will decide who's right next week. Commission member Manuel Geraldo says it's not a tough call.
Hopefully the judge will see that under state law, that those funds do not belong to the county. Those funds belong to Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, no one else.
After the hearing, a group of Parks and Planning retirees revealed they are asking the state special prosecutor to investigate the council members leading the push to grab Parks and Planning funds and direct them to a list of nonprofits they've chosen. They are alleging, among other things, self-dealing.
We would like to have that investigation to find out why they are using these funds, the $39.3 million, to go to certain organizations without some oversight.
As we reported last week, District 8 Council member Ed Burrows is the driving force behind the transfers. He believes Parks and Planning hasn't been fair to groups like the Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club's youth football program in the southern half of the county. And in a statement today, he said, quote, "I will not apologize for fighting to bring long overdue resources to my constituents. I welcome a fair investigation. Investigate everything. What the investigation will show is District 8 has missed out on millions of dollars in recreation programming because of an unfair process." But fellow council member Jolene Ivey argued taking the money and choosing who gets it is also wrong.
We need to fix that process. We don't need to eliminate it by transferring the money from Park and Planning to what essentially becomes a slush fund for the county council.
Yeah, so there are really two issues here. Is it legal to take the money? And that is what the judge has to decide, and she says she will rule next week. And then the other issue is how that money will be spent. You heard those people are asking for an investigation by the state prosecutor. State special prosecutor never reveals what they're investigating. You only hear from them if and when charges are actually filed. Josh?
Brad, can you explain a little bit more about what the council members want to do with the money and this allegation of self-dealing?
Yeah, so look, that's the secondary issue here, right? Is what is the motive? Why are they pulling this money out of Parks and Planning? And what the council members are saying is, look, going back years, they have felt that their parts of the county, and it's District 7 and 8, southern part of the county, they felt they've been discriminated against, that they've had programs there that have asked for help, asked for money, made proposals, and they've been denied, but the same sort of thing in the north part of the county has been accepted. So what they say they are trying to do is flex their muscle a little bit and send the money to places where they believe it should go. Now, the allegations of self-dealing come from the fact that some of the organizations that are getting funds allegedly are tied closely to allies of the individual council members. So, you know, that's the allegation. That what the council members say, look, is we're not just giving out money. These organizations have to do the work, spend the money, and then ask to be reimbursed for that, so that it's not like there is just cash flowing around to people. But this story is certainly not going to be going away anytime soon. The next step will be the ruling from the judge. In Upper Marlboro, Brad Bell, 7 News.